I know. I know. I look like a 12-year-old boy. I made a horrible investment, and it did not work out. Let's just get the elephant in the room. Let's address the elephant in the room. Your boy shaved his beard, and I look like a freaking child now. So that was a horrible mistake. But either way, hi, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden. In today's video, we are going to be going over the good, the bad, and the ugly on the Toyota Mark II JZX90, or the Toyota Chaser JZX90, or the Toyota Cresta JZX90. They're all relatively the same cars, for those who don't know, just with different body styles. So yeah, we're just gonna go over all of them at the same time. I was inspired actually to make this a good, bad, and ugly because I was at my friend's shop, which used to be Chris Rudnick's shop. A lot of you guys noticed that, but yeah, Racer Miata on YouTube. If you haven't watched him, go check him out. He's a good guy. But it used to be his shop, and he came to pick up something, and he was in his JZX90, and I fell in love with that thing. I literally could not stop looking at it. It is an absolutely gorgeous car. So I was like, I'm doing a whole good, bad, and ugly on the JZX90. For those who are new here and don't know what the good, bad, and ugly is, first we go over everything you need to know about the car. That's just basic information, like what engines it came with, if it's rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, if it has an automatic, manual, yada yada, just basic stuff you need to know about the car. Then I get into what the community tends to do in terms of modifying them, if they drift them, if they street race them, if they track them, if they rally them, etc. And then I finally get into the good, the bad, and the ugly, which we'll go over when we get there. And at the end of the video, I tell you whether or not I think you should buy the car, depending on the current situation that you are in. Song of the day is called 21 Questions by 50 Cent. It's a classic. It's a banger. Go give this bad boy a listen if you haven't already. And yeah, I guess without further ado, let's go right into the good, the bad, and the ugly on the Toyota Mark II JZX90. I want one so bad. Alright, so, like I said, first thing we need to go over is just the basic information about this car. Just, you know, things like the years and all that stuff. First off, let's go over the years made and the generation. It was made between the years 1992 through 1996, so a 4-year runtime, which doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of generations of the Mark II. As a matter of fact, this is the 7th generation of the Toyota Mark II, so, and that's in the 92s. Now, I don't know if they even make them anymore, if I'm being honest. I think they're called the Toyota Crowns now, if I don't know exactly, but either way, there's a lot of generations of this car. As for the trim levels, for those who don't know, here on this channel, when we go over trim levels, we don't talk about every little intricate detail about the differences between the trim levels. All we talk about is the engines, because let's face it, most of us nowadays don't really care about if the car has leather seats or cruise control or a sunroof, so it's just the engines. And for the Mark II JZX90, it comes with a GL, and the trim levels are GL and Groyer, no idea how to pronounce this. It's spelled Groire. But either way, we're going in ascending order, obviously, so these are the worst trim levels, so I don't think many of you guys are going to matter. But yeah, Groyer, I don't know how to pronounce that, which comes with a 1.8 liter inline 4, making 120 horsepower. The next trim level is the 2.0 Grande, which comes with a 2 liter inline 6, making 135 horsepower. Well, even though it's only 15 more horsepower, keep in mind it is 0.2 liters bigger and has 2 more cylinders, and it's a straight 6. Toyota straight 6 engines are known for their reliability and good at handling power. Next is the Tourer S, which comes with a 2.5 liter inline 6, making 180 horsepower. Obviously a pretty big jump. But then finally is the Tourer V. That's the one everybody actually wants. That's the reason why these cars are as popular as they are, because these come with a 2.5 liter twin turbocharged inline 6, making 280 horsepower. And if you know Japanese automaker history, this car was built during the gentleman's agreement era, so there's a good chance that it actually could very easily make more than 280 horsepower. Long story short, for the gentleman's agreement, by the way, Japanese car manufacturers in the 90s were scared about what the outcome could be if they kept going with the horsepower race that they were going at, and so they kind of capped the amount of horsepower that they're allowed to legally sell a car at, just for safety reasons. But either way, that motor, for those who don't know, is a 1JZ GTE. It's not as good as the 2JZ GTE that we all know and love, but it's its little brother, and it's a monster of an engine. Like this I want a 1J more than I want world peace. Okay, like these engines are absolutely incredible. As for the body styles, the car is available as a sedan only. There is no coupe Mark IIs. However, I do think they had, like, there are other cars with 1JZ GTEs in them that are coupes, so it might as well be the same thing. As for the drivetrains, it is rear-wheel drive only, which is why they're also very popular, because rear-wheel drive with a 1JZ GTE, that just sounds like an absolute beauty. As for the transmissions, it is available as an automatic and a manual, obviously. Only certain trim levels so come with manuals, and obviously you're going to want the manual because this is a 90s Japanese automatic transmission. It's not going to A, handle power well, and B, be reliable even if you don't try adding power to it, so you're going to want the manual. So it's going to be kind of hard to find the manuals, but They are out there. As for the price, this is where it gets absolutely crazy, because if you find just like a regular base model GL automatic, you can find it for like literally 7 grand. I saw one at a drift event that I went to for 9,500 bucks, but that one had a manual and it was literally like crystal clean, not a speck on it. You can find like a 100,000 mileage one, already imported, by the way, because these are imports if you live in America, so keep that in mind. These are right-hand drive imported cars, but you can find one already imported for right around $7,000 if it's like a base model with a little bit more miles on it. It's actually, they're not as expensive as people think they are, but it can go all the way up to like 25 grand for like a bone stock Tourer V with pretty low miles on it, even more than that honestly at some point. So the price ranges drastically depending on which trim level and condition that you get the car in. As for the reliability and the gas mileage, any trim level, every single one of them are very reliable no matter which one you get, except for the ones with automatics, again, so just stay away from the automatics. And the 2.5 Grande, or the 2.0 Grande, my bad, gets 24 miles per gallon combined. I'm saying that one because I feel like that's the one that the majority of you guys are probably going to be able to get. I feel like you guys, the GL and Groyer, again, I don't know how to pronounce that, is a little bit too boring for you guys, so, but the Tourer S and Tourer V are a little bit too expensive, so that's why I'm going with the 2.0 Grande, which gets 24 miles per gallon combined. The other ones are going to get a little bit less, but not that much less. It's pretty good gas mileage, honestly. All right, but now what does the community tend to do with these bad mother jammers in terms of modifying them? Well, in terms of the drifting boys, it is obviously extremely popular here and it looks good doing it. This is by far its most popular application for like motorsports and stuff. People like to drift these things. They're rear wheel drive 1JZ GTE powered Toyotas. Obviously people are going to drift those, and so yeah, it's definitely most popular in the drifting scene. As for the rally / off-road boys, it's not seen ever here because it's a rear-wheel drive Japanese sedan from the 90s that has like a wheelbase the size of like a giraffe's neck. So no, people are not rally racing their Mark IIs. As for the street racing scene, it's seen here sometimes just due to the fact that it does have a 1JZ, and it can make good power, obviously, but it's clearly not as popular as something like an American V8 is going to be, or even a like Mark IV Supra is going to be. As for the track racing community, not seen here either, just again, same reason why the rally guys don't use it. It's long wheelbase and weight just makes it not that great. As a matter of fact, a lot of people like to buy these cars and take the engines out of them and put them in lighter weight cars with shorter wheelbases for the track. But yeah, so they're not really seen in the track racing community. But then as for the stance or show guys, again, this one's surprisingly not that popular for this. People that do buy these cars buy them to drift, or like I said before, to take the engines out of them, which in my opinion is kind of like, I get why they're doing it, but I like the looks of JZX90s. I think they look incredible, but if you go to like a car show and look at JDM cars all built up and stuff, you might see some like JZX100 chasers there, but you're not going to see a lot of JZX90 Mark IIs. I feel like people just, I guess, that buy these cars are buying them for the drift tax. All right, but now we are into the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the way this works, in case you're new here, is first I go over the good. These are selling points about the cars, things where if you went to the dealership in 1994 and wanted to buy a Mark II in Japan, this is what the salesman would say to you. Then we get into the bad, which are not actually bad things, it's just a fun play on words. It's more like a middle ground area where it's like, if it does affect you, then it's obviously a bad thing, but if it doesn't affect you, then who cares? It's not that big a deal at all. Or it's just something that might not affect everybody anyways. And then at the end, we go over the ugly, which are genuine problems with the car. These are things that you might want to address before buying the car. Without further ado, let's get right into the good though. We're going to start with the good. And the first thing for the good is the space. Both cargo and cabin space. Yeah, this car has a pretty decent amount of it. You can put things in it. You can have some Lizzo heifers in the backseat if you want to. You can do whatever you want in this car and you'll have plenty of space for it. Next is the aftermarket support. It is a Japanese 90s car, so just in general, pretty much any Japanese 90s car has a lot of aftermarket support, but this one in particular does have the 1JZ GTE. The only slight downside is a lot of the true aftermarket parts, not the replica ones, are going to be pretty expensive because they're like true JDM parts. So if you live in America trying to import those over here, it's going to be a pretty penny. As a matter of fact, they have like Ganador mirrors, I'm pretty sure is what they're called, that cost like $700 for a set of mirrors. That's insane. Like, I don't know, but these cars do have some pretty hefty JDM tax on them. Next is the community for these cars. As long as you yourself want to be a part of the drifting community, then the community is incredible for them. These are like literally like, I don't think any drifter in the world is going to look at a JZX90 and be like, phony. Like, no, this is like a true, drifter's car. People are going to respect you for it in the drifting community. Now, in terms of every other part of the car community, like drag racing, rally racing, all that stuff, yeah, this car obviously doesn't really fit in for that, but I feel like the vast majority of you guys watching this video anyways like this car because you like drifting. So I feel like, yeah, you would like the community. Next is the car is rising in value. So in my opinion, they are obviously a pretty good investment if that's what you're going for. Next is the cup holders are actually pretty decent. At the end of the day, even though these cars are pretty cool, they were meant to be just a regular old family 9 to 5, get you from point A to point B style car. And so yeah, the cup holders are actually pretty good, even though they are 90s cup holders though. So keep that in mind. Like, you're obviously not going to be able to fit like everything in there. You're not going to be able to fit a big gulp or whatever from 7-Eleven, but you can fit most of the things in it. Next is the car does have 4 doors. I feel like that's almost always a good thing. Like, how would that not be a good thing? It's just more 4 doors, more horrors. Next is the Tourer V is an extremely fun version of the car, like 1JZ GTE rear-wheel drive, manual transmission, right-hand drive. That is freaking baller, and I don't think there's going to be a single person in the world that will tell you that that's not a fun combination. So yeah, I'm putting it in the good. That is just the Tourer V though. I want to make that abundantly clear. I'm not saying the rest of all the cars are going to be extremely fun, just the Tourer V. Next is the car, like I said before, is extremely reliable. Again, same thing I said earlier, but yeah, it's a Toyota from the 90s. They will not die. Next is the only attention this car will get is from car guys, which is actually a very good thing. I feel like a lot of people think that they want to get all the attention from all the girlies when they're driving down the streets and all that. But dude, that gets so old so fast, or so I've heard. I mean, I never really experienced it truly myself, but every single video or every single article of, or any single owner of a supercar that I've ever talked to has said this exact same thing. That at first, yeah, you feel cool. Even my uncle rented a Dodge Viper for a weekend, and by the end of the weekend, he was sick of owning it because everybody stopped him and wanted to talk to him. It does get annoying, and so if you have like a cool car, but it's only cool to car guys, I feel like that's a lot better. And it's like, because then you want to talk to these people anyways. They're not just like trying to use you for your money, you know what I mean? Like, in terms of the attention part of it, you would probably much rather have the attention that you get from a JZX90 rather than the attention that you get for like a Lamborghini Huracan or something, I don't know. And finally, for the good is the analog interior and true JDM vibes that these cars do bring. A lot of people, myself included, say we have JDM cars when realistically speaking, we have what's called USDM cars. My Integra is USDM, even though I say it's JDM. But this one is truly a JDM car. Like, that's a flex in and of itself. A lot of people like that. And on top of that, again, it has that analog interior that a lot of us car guys are looking for in most of our cars. But now let's get into the bad. And again, I want to make it abundantly clear that this is not actually bad things. I always say this. And you know what? Like, every time I say this and explain it, most of you guys understand. But you know what? One of these good, bad, and uglies, nobody seemed to understand what the bad was actually for was the Lexus GS300. If you go look at the GS300 video, everybody thought that I was like personally insulting them when I got to the bad points. I was like, dude, I'm just reading off of what other owners say on forums and stuff. I've obviously never owned these cars. I'm just reading off of what other people are saying are problems that they experience. Like, I don't know why they're getting so frustrated. Most of the time people understand though. Either way though, yeah, the bad is not actually bad things. It's just a fun play on words. It's just a middle ground area where it's like, it's 100% up to you whether or not it's a bad or a good thing. Some of these could even be good things. And first off, for the bad is the sound. Again, obviously this is 100% personal preference. I think they sound good, especially the 1JZs, obviously. But some people might not, I guess. Next, oh, here's a clip, by the way. Next is the looks. Same thing I just said about the sound. This is obviously personal preference. I personally think they look incredible, but there are definitely going to be a lot of people out there that think that they look really boring. As a matter of fact, when I got home that night after seeing Chris Rennick's, I was showing my mom and my little sister, and they were like, do you like that? It just looks like a Camry to me, and that's what the majority of people are going to see when looking at a car like this. I like them, and a lot of car guys like how they look, but you might not. Next is the car is rear-wheel drive only. Again, this is what I mean. This is why it's in the bad, because personally, I think that's way better. I like rear-wheel drive cars. I'd rather own a rear-wheel drive car than a front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, but there are going to be a lot of people obviously out there that do not want a rear-wheel drive car or just like practicality wise shouldn't own a rear-wheel drive car. I'm talking to you 16, 17, 18, even all the way up to like 20-year-olds. You might want to stay away from rear-wheel drive for a little while before you understand cars. Next is the car is right-hand drive. Again, I think that's super cool, but obviously that takes some getting used to and does cause for some complications when driving in the United States of America. Even if you, by the way, I know I keep referring to the United States of America. It's because I'm American. Okay, obviously. Like, can you not tell by my accent, man? I sound like a burger. Okay, like I'm obviously an American man, so that's why I keep referring to America's like stuff. But either way, yeah, right hand drive over here, it can get a little frustrating probably, if I had to guess, but it is, in my opinion, pretty cool. Next is the import tax that these cars do have. Again, most of you guys are probably going to buy one that's already imported anyways, so you probably don't have to worry too much about that. But there is, even after it's already imported, there's still extra steps you have to take just to get these things registered, even if they're already imported, because they are a Japanese car. As a matter of fact, some of these cars, it's like you go to look at them and they're not the only owner. I don't know how it works, but like they'll be like the car's owned by like two people, one person that's in Japan and then one person that's in America, which is really weird, and I would hate that. So like, yeah, there's a couple of other like things about imports that it just causes a lot of stress. Just be wary if you're going to look at any import, not just this car, but any import, that you are going to have a lot more steps to take. Next is the car is very boring stock. This is just not a surprise, but yeah, they're relatively heavy cars with a long wheelbase and not the most horsepower, except for obviously the Tourer V. The Tourer V is going to be fun stock, but the rest of them are probably going to be boring. But that's like every single Japanese car from the 90s, and we all still love them anyways, so I feel like most people aren't going to care too much about that. But next is that they are so annoying to actually find one worth buying. There are a lot of these cars on Facebook Marketplace, actually, at least around where I am, a lot more than you would think, and almost every one of them has some weird thing going on with it where it's like it looks good, but then it's not. Again, the thing about I was just telling you about earlier, how like the cars will be like 50% owned by somebody in America, then the other 50% is owned by some guy in Japan. It's like things like that. It just makes these cars so annoying to actually like try buying them. Next is it's also going to be tough on insurance and getting it registered. Like I said before, with the import tax, it kind of applies, but yeah, it's just a little bit more of a pain rather than not being a pain. Next is only the Tourer V is actually going to be fun. I don't know why I listed this, because I literally just talked about this. Sorry. And finally, for the bad, is people that see one will probably think you need to drift it, even if you don't want to, which can be very annoying. Trust me, dude. When I had my 350Z, every single car guy I came across was like, you drift it, you drift it, you drift it. And when I told them no, they looked so disappointed. It's the same thing with my Integra now. Sometimes people will be like, does the car have VTEC? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And they're like, oh, I'm like, dude, I still like it. Still a cool car. Like, yeah, it doesn't have VTEC, but I still like my Integra, man. Like, you don't have to have like the top of the line cars. You don't have to drift your JZX90 if you buy it. But some people are going to think that, and it might get on your nerves, because it gets on my nerves. So I know it might get on some other people's. But yeah, that's it for the bad. Alright, but now we are into the ugly, and these are actual problems that you're going to have to address one day with this car. Unfortunately, there are 3 in today's videos, so it's actually kind of a little bit more than usual. Usually we only have like 2 or even 1 sometimes for the ugly, but today we got 3. But the first one is on almost every single one of my good, bad, and uglies, because I make all my good, bad, and uglies on 90s, 80s cars, because that's what I like, gosh darn it, and that's what you guys seem to like. So this one you guys are used to, but the automatics are pointless, so make sure you get a manual. You guys, I feel like a broken record when I say that, because I've already said it in this video, and I say it in every good, bad, and ugly, because again, all my good, bad, and uglies are like on 90s and 80s cars. But yeah, get the freaking manual, man. Do not get an automatic. You're not going to like it. And just save up a little extra money, or be patient. Even you might not even have to save up that much extra money. Just be more patient and wait for a manual to come around and then buy that one. Next for the ugly though is buying parts and troubleshooting when working on the car itself is going to be a freaking nightmare. Yeah, it's an import, man. Even though it is a Toyota and there was a lot of these made in Japan, we didn't have any of these made in America. So if you live in America and you buy this car and you need to, I don't know, get a freaking O2 sensor for it or something, it might be a pain in the rectum to do that, because they don't make those parts in America, obviously, except for aftermarket ones, and even those are probably going to be a little bit rare. So just keep that in mind, that it is definitely not like a beginner's car in terms of like it's not hard. I'm not saying it's hard to work on. It's obviously not. It's a 90s Toyota. Every 90s Toyota is easy to work on, as a matter of fact. But it's not a beginner's car in the sense where it's like you got to be a patient dude to know how to like keep these things good and clean, if that makes any sense. And finally, for the ugly, is the things that are going to just come with age and importing a car as well, like all the extra stress and things that break with age, like, I don't know, wiring being a problem, windows seals breaking, faded headlights, bushings, just typical things that come with age. And then also all the stress obviously that comes with importing a car. Like we talked about multiple times in this video, there are certain things: getting it registered, insurance, buying parts, and learning how to, if you run into a problem when trying to fix it, looking on the forums. These cars, again, not super popular in America, so you might be able to find some Japanese forums, but do you speak Japanese? I don't think you do. So yeah, just basic things that might cause this car to be a little bit more stressful. Again, recircling back to that notion where if you're gonna buy a JZX90, I highly recommend that you are a more experienced car guy with more mechanical knowledge than your average car guy, because it's going to be a little bit more stressful than just owning something like a Civic, obviously, but that's not a good example because any car is going to be more stressful than owning a Civic. What's another like Japanese sports car that people, the 350Z, perfect example actually in the car I owned. Yeah, it's going to be more stressful than owning a 350Z. But either way, do I think that you should buy one depending on the current situation that you are in? We got 4 different scenarios for 4 different types of people out there. So let's go over those real quick. Oh, where is the, there it is. Okay, I didn't have it up on my screen because I am a bad YouTuber. As for the daily driver folks, the folks that are just looking for something to get them from point A to point B, that's all they care about. They don't care about how cool it is. They don't care about how much fun it is. They don't care about selling it in a couple years to make profit. They just want to get a freaking car and drive to work. No, not ever. Why would you ever buy an imported car in, again, unless you're a Japanese person watching this video and you want to get a GL, I guess, but I doubt that's happening. So for the 90% of you guys that are watching this video, no, this is not for you. As a matter of fact, I say this in every single one of my good, bad, and uglies because I've never made good, bad, and uglies, obviously, on like commuter cars. So at this point, why are you even still watching me? Like, I appreciate it, but like, I feel like you are the complete opposite audience that I'm trying to attract on my channel, man. We're car guys here. But speaking of car guys, as for the car guys that are looking for a daily driver, because we're different from regular people, obviously, we tell our wives that we're just buying a daily driver to get us from point A to point B. But while the rest of the people buy the Civic EXs, we buy the Civic SIs. While the rest of the people buy the Volkswagen Golfs, we buy the Volkswagen Golf GTIs. You know, we always have to sprinkle in a little bit more fun. Honestly, for us, I kind of think it might not be the worst deal option out there for like a daily driver. If you buy a base model though, otherwise I do think it's too expensive for a daily, and it's going to be just like if you're buying a Tourer V to daily drive it, I just feel like that just doesn't really make much sense. But if you want to buy like a GL already imported, like I said, you can find these for like $7,000 sometimes, and they'll have like 70,000 miles on them. And it's like, yeah, there is a little bit extra stress again with the whole import thing and all that stuff that we were talking about earlier. But at the end of the day, you do have a just 90s Toyota. Like, it's going to be reliable, it's going to get the job done. Obviously, if you're up north, maybe stay away from it just because it's rear wheel drive, and so we have winter up here. But if you're down south, honestly, I can't think of any real reason as to why I don't think you should buy this car, besides, of course, the import part. That is obviously a little bit extra stress, but if you can get over that, yeah, it's a pretty good deal, honestly, for like car guys looking for a daily driver. As for the Sunday cruiser folks, however, people that are just going to take it out, drive it on the weekends, and just like keep its value. No. These things are kind of boring stock. They're meant to be either full-blown commuter cars or full-blown projects. Like, there's no real in-between there, and I feel like Sunday cruiser guys are the guys that are looking for the in-between. Like, you're the type of guy that's going to buy like a Lotus lease, you know what I mean, and drive it every once in a while. But no, I don't think you're going to get much. Like, you're going to drive this every Sunday and be like, wow, I can't wait to go drive my 180 horsepower Tourer S Toyota Mark II. Like, I just feel like that just doesn't really make much sense. But as for the race car / project car people, yeah, obviously, yeah, I do think this is a good option for you guys. They look like at least super freaking fun cars. They have a freaking 1JZ GTE in them. That's like, I want a 1JZ GTE almost more than I want a 2JZ GTE. I know that makes no sense, but it's just how I work sometimes. I like the things that like not everybody else likes, and the 1JZ is a little bit more slept on. It's just such a cooler name too, 1JZ. Like, it just, yeah, it's number one. We're number one. It's just such a freak. I don't know. Yeah, I think people should definitely build these things up more. And I want to see more things that aren't just drift cars with the JZX90s. I want to see someone try like a time attack or something with these cars. That'd be cool. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video of the good, the bad, and the ugly on the Toyota Mark II JZX90. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Check the links in the description for all my social medias and other YouTube channels and all that great mumbo jumbo. And I know I usually, in my good and bad, at least go off of recommendations, and I was going to go off of a good recommendation, but again, dude, I saw this thing in person and I fell in love. I already liked the Mark II JZX100s. I love Mark II JZX, and I think I do still to this day like Mark II JZX100s better than the JZX90s. I think those are just, God, those cars are gorgeous. Like, I love JZX100s so much. Not the Chaser JZX100s too much. I think those are actually a little bit boring, honestly. I know technically, like, performance-wise they're not, but you know what I mean. In terms of looks, I think the JZX100 Chasers are a little bit boring, but the Mark IIs are gorgeous. But when I saw the JZX90, I was like, yeah, I gotta make a video on that. I gotta mention it in some video, but I couldn't think of a video to mention it in, so I was like, you know what, we'll give it a whole freaking good, bad, and ugly. So I am gonna be doing recommendations though, so if you do want to see a car, what did I just like? Where was I filming just then? Over here. Look at that. You guys get to see my other chair. But if you guys want to see a car in a good, bad, and ugly Mark Roden video, obviously, do leave a comment below, because I do go off recommendations 99% of the time, except for that 1% like today where I was just like, ooh, I really want to talk about the car, which ended up being the JZX90. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Das Vidanya. Sorry for shaving my beard off and giving you guys a jump scare. I know I look like a little kid. I know I look horrendously ugly. I apologize for that. But Das Vidanya, and have a nice night.